All right, good morning, everybody. It's your boy Akeem, and welcome to this blog. Here to give you a recap of week one of the 2017 college football season. Another amazing kickoff season, starting with the game of the week between number one Alabama versus number three Florida State. Now, as I told you guys, I went with Alabama in this one, and they did prevail 24-7. Due to what I did say, they were just out beating them physically in that matchup, especially as the game progressed. Now, there is sad news for Florida State. They no longer have their quarterback, DeAndre Francois. Starting, he actually tore a knee ligament, and he is out for the year. So this is going to be a tough break for Jimbo Fisher and company, and they're going to need a second string guy to step it up immediately just to keep them this team the nose in ranks. Now, they went from ranked 3rd to ranked 10th after this week, after this loss. They did fight hard in this matchup. The defense did the best they could just to keep them in, but offensively, Florida State just couldn't get anything going against that treacherous Alabama defense. Next up, number 2, Ohio State. They went off to a slow start against Indiana. It was actually tied 21-21 at one point, but then when it got to the second half, J.T. Parrott stepped up at quarterback and led this team to a 49-21 victory. Next up, sticking with the Big Ten Conference, Florida actually, Michigan actually beat Florida 33-17, which I went with Florida in this one as my upset game of the week. Florida offensively just couldn't get anything going. They had 192 total yards of offense. That is not going to get the job done, especially when their defense was putting them in the position to have more points. They had a couple of interception returns for touchdowns. It's just that the offense was just playing horrifically against that Michigan defense. Shout out for Coach Jim Harbaugh. Did a great job replacing 11 starters. I believe 11 starters offensively and defensively, but they had a lot of key losses defensively, and the defense did a great job against this SEC school from Florida. Next up, another close race in this matchup. USC, number 4th ranked team in the country, actually struggled a lot against Western Michigan, but did pull it off at the end of the game to pull off a 49-31 victory. Like, I called this as one of the games to watch, and I actually picked a great one for you guys to watch. I was kind of shocked that Western Michigan was able to go toe-to-toe against USC for most of the game, but then the Trojans actually just got their act together at the end of the going towards in the fourth quarter. And I do want to give a shout out for Jake Olsen. He's the blind long snapper of the Trojans. He actually snapped the final extra point of the game, and it just shows that if you really believe things can happen, God will find a way to make it happen for you. And if you don't believe in that and have faith, then you are actually blind. That's actually words that came out of Olsen's mouth. Other great games that we saw this weekend, number 22 West Virginia faced number 21 Virginia Tech, and it was a great matchup. And I have to give a shout out for quarterback Will Greer. He actually stepped up, especially try to fight hard to lead the Mountaineers to a victory, but they just came up short, in which the Hokies won 31-24. Will Greer passed for 371 yards, passing 3 touchdowns and an interception. Another great matchup this weekend in Atlanta as number 25 Tennessee. They played against unranked Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech quarterback Daquan Marshall, he ran for 249 yards on the ground. They ran all over the Volunteers, but Coach Butch Jones and company stuck it hard, played hard, led the team to an overtime thriller, and in which they won 42-41. Now, other games that I called out, the Navy played Florida Atlantic. I actually had that game right. Navy did win 42-19. Colorado did beat Colorado State 17-3. Michigan against Bowling Green. I had to call that matchup because we wanted to see how well Michigan State will rebound in this game. The Spartans did win 35-10. Cal and USC had a great showdown in which the Cal Bears had a 35-30 victory. Quarterback Ross Bowers had a great game with 363 yards passing and 4 touchdowns. Now, the upset game of the week was really my Texas Longhorns, and I'm so embarrassed. To be honest with you, I was a little bit shocked that we was ranked as the season begun. But I kind of understood the hype because we did hire a good head coach in Tom Harmon, but we still got a long way to go. We had no business losing to Maryland 51-41 at Austin. mainly because of the poor play defensively. And I told you guys that I was very concerned about the secondary of my Longhorns, in which they just couldn't get their act together. DJ Moore he had over 130 yards receiving for the Terrapins. That he had a big game. Now I'm not trying to dock him. He's a good receiver, but I didn't think he was that great. It's just that our secondary is just not that great. We need a lot of help on the defensive unit. Special teams just kept us in. We had a punt return for a touchdown. We had a field goal block return for a touchdown. We actually gave a field goal block to Maryland for a touchdown. And Ty Johnson ran well, 132 yards on the ground and a touchdown. He showed a lot of speed. That's another thing we lack defensively. We lack speed defensively and speed offensively as well. We played hard. Shane Bruchel, he had over 300 yards passing. He tried his best offensively, but it was really the defense that was just a huge disappointment. And I really, like I said, I don't really believe we should have been ranked 23rd to open up the season. Shout out to Maryland. They had a great game. They had a great game plan. They lost their number one quarterback during the matchup, Tyrell Pigram, and actually their backup quarterback in Mills stepped it up, and he actually even had a rushing touchdown and a big passing play on third down to keep to close out the game. And I was just like, I can't believe this was happening. I didn't think Maryland was that good to beat my Longhorns. I had huge confidence, but Longhorns just let me down. And I'm really intrigued to see what happens. Interested to see what happens for the remainder of the season. It's not looking too well. We had a season coming off of a 5-7 season. We was ranked pretty much coming off a 5-7 season. I don't know how we were ranked, but I was just very disappointed in our efforts, really on the defensive side. The offensively, we did our best, but it just wasn't working out. Now, overall this week, I went 9-3, so not bad to start off the college football season. And the next time I'm going to catch you guys will be later on today, in which I will give you a preview of week 2. Thank you for watching this vlog. I'm your man, Akeem McCall. Be easy.